Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be getting into 8 builds you should try in 7.35. You guys seem to love these videos, so I'm going to keep on making them, just to kind of give you guys a clear idea of what are the meta builds, what are people doing, what's good, what's new, and so on and so on. And let's get into it. Alright, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day I'm posting a new video to the GameLeap website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken, click the link down below and sign up. Alright, starting off, we have one of the highest winner heroes in all of Dota, and that is Warden. The build on Warden, well, there's honestly a few, and I want to make videos for all of the builds, but I can't, so I'm going to make one of them for YouTube, and I'm going to make one of them for the website. What is the mid build for Warden, and why is this hero so good? Well, honestly, I think this hero's been good. I'm not going to lie. And I think people are starting to figure out the better and better builds, and I genuinely believe that this actually is one of the best heroes in Dota, not only in pubs, but also maybe even at the pro level. I really think pros might start picking up this hero. So what should you do? Well, there's a couple different things people are doing. The main one for mid that I'm seeing is either Earn or Midas, of course with Bottle in most games. Now, why Earn and why Midas? Well, Earn is good because when you use your clone, it gets the charges that your hero has, right? So you can basically just spam Earn. The whole point of Earn is that you can't spam it. Right? This item is not spammable. It's cheap and the active is really good, but the way it's nerfed is you have charges. With Warden clone, you kind of don't, and so you can heal yourself with the clone, you can do a ton of damage with the clone, it gives you the sustain you want, it's good. The reason why you buy Midas is you get 2 Midases, right? Double the Midas is good. Of course the attack speed is good too, but then from there, what do? Right? So of course you have your Bottle, you have your Midas, maybe you got a wand, you're gonna buy boots. Then there's a couple of different builds. You can upgrade the Earn into Spirit Vessel, or if you're going Midas, you either just buy a Maelstrom or an Atos. And you're gonna kind of go the normal Warden build, right? This is a pretty standard build. It's Midas with Maelstrom and then into Gleipnir. There are some people going Mjolnir, which I respect. It's obscenely high damage too, but I kind of like the Gleipnir because the hero does have some catch issues. It also gives the hero a little bit of HP, right, a little bit of tankiness, and just having 2 massive AoE roots does feel incredible. So I do love the angle of the Gleipnir on this hero, right? So Midas with brown boots, you don't upgrade the boots. You just go Midas into Gleipnir. Then a lot of people are going Boots of Travel, and from there, there's a whole plethora of items you can buy. Consider Manta, Bloodthorn, or Hurricane Pike. Alright, next up is a really simple build, but it's Nyx with Dagon. Nyx Dagon's a funny one, because no matter how bad of a game you're having, it just kind of doesn't matter. Like, you could be feeding your brains off, and then you hit ult, and you finish your Dagon, and you can kill anyone. Right, so how does Nyx Assassin ulti work? Well, let's talk about a couple of the key changes that made this hero a bit better. First of all, they've buffed the stun, they've made it easier to hit. They've also buffed Vendetta very hard. The hit does pure damage, which a lot of people don't know. That's pretty cool. It does 300 pure damage, not magical. But it has attack range and it hits 70% faster than a normal attack, right? So it comes out obscenely fast, and they buffed the stun animation. So basically it used to be pretty hard to hit Vendetta into Impale. Now it's like boom, boom. Like this shit is instant. It's instant. And then your W just does a ton of damage naturally. You have a 10 talent, which increases Vendetta damage if you want to take that as well. You have a 15 talent that increases the amount of damage that you do. It's pretty obscene how much damage this hero can do. And then eventually you get your Shard, which amps magic damage on attack, right? On the Vendetta attack. It makes you move faster, and then it makes you do more damage. And so yeah, if you want to play probably the most fun build of the patch, it's Nyx with Dagon, and then an eventual Shard. You go Dagon 1 into Shard, and then you max the Dagon. It's crazy stuff, right? If you don't know what the combo is, you hit them with the ulti, you stun them, you Dagon them, and then the W does damage based on how much damage you've dealt to them previously. And so if you nuke them, and then you click them with Mind Flare, it does a ton of damage. All right, getting into the third build, we have Winter Wyvern Core. This is a cool one that's been shooting up absolutely everywhere as of late. And what is good about it now? Well, there's been a couple of major buffs to Wyvern. Honestly, the hero's been getting buffed like crazy. Well, a couple of things they did is they buffed the E recently. It heals more now. The main buff that they gave this hero is Arctic Burn's cooldown at level 1 used to be 40 seconds. Now it's 26. It's obscenely low. And the ulti now has a better cast range, better mana cost, and so on and so on. And also something to keep in mind about Winter Wyvern is the curse amps the amount of magic damage that the hero takes. And so all you really need to know about this hero is that it has a damage talent at level 10, it's universal so it really likes stats, and Witchblade in its current state is one of the most broken items on Winter Wyvern. Well, what this item naturally does is it gives 40 attack speed, 12 int, mana, armor, and projectile speed. This is all incredible. It of course also gives the passive on a 9-second cooldown where you slow the enemy and deal damage. This fixes a lot of Wyvern's problems because the hero wants attack speed, a little bit of a mana pool, mana regen's great, armor is great on the hero. It really does just about everything. And also something to keep in mind is the passive does extra magic damage. When you ulti someone, they take 30% extra magic damage. And this gets even more crazy when you keep in mind that when you upgrade this item to Parasma, right, which gives you more intelligence, more stats, more armor, but most importantly, it amps the damage of the passive Witchblade, right, from 0.75% of your intelligence's damage to 1 times your intelligence's damage. And also the passive of this item, it makes it where your attacks reduce the enemy's magic resist by 20% for 4 seconds. And so when you stack this on top of each other with a Witchblade, a Parasma, when you stack this all on top of each other, and the build that people tend to be going is Mage Slayer with Parasma, and the Mage Slayer does magic damage, the Parasma does magic damage, your ulti amps magic damage, and so does Parasma, and then you hope to get a Grove Bow. And when you click this, you will literally see heroes disappear. I'm not kidding, it actually makes them disappear. Alright, the next build I want to recommend is Vlad's Morphling. This one's I don't want to say it's a meme, because people are doing it, but it's hard to say if it's actually the way to go. Basically, what you guys should keep in mind right now is that Vlad's is in probably the best place it's ever been. Why is Vlad's in the best place it's ever been? Well, the main reason is the cost. This item's really cheap. It's only 2,200 gold. You know what also is 2,200 gold? Falcon Blade plus Morbid Mask. So this item combo is the most common item combo on Morphling. The reason why? You need sustain, and Morbid Mask is incredibly good at that because your hero has a low HP pool and high damage. And then Falcon Blade gives you some damage and some mana regen that you desperately need. And this is the standard build on Morphling into Manta and then Parasma. I've talked about this before. But the reason why the Vlad's is interesting and some people are trying it is because of the fact that Morphling has a ton of base damage, right? Vlad's is broken now, or pretty good now, and Vlad's gives you bonus base damage, right? This hero only has base damage, right? Because it turns all of its strength into agility. And so when it has, let's say 100 base damage, which is actually really low, it's going to get an extra 18. Let's say it has 110 or 120, you're probably getting 22, 23 damage, right? When you complete this item. If we look at an item like Falcon Blade for a little bit of comparison, that item gives only 14 damage. Now, of course, the downside is of Vlad's is it doesn't give health, and that sucks a little bit, right? It doesn't give health, and it's slightly more expensive than buying Falcon Blade and Morbid Mask, but not by a lot. However, the buildup of Vlad's is slightly worse, so it's more of an overall timing, but then yeah, you do have just a Vlad's for your team, and you get to keep a slot. That's pretty nice, right? You can keep a slot open for a range drop, to keep your wand longer, whatever it is. And then eventually now, not only have they buffed Vlad's in terms of cost, but you can disassemble it. Now, what would you disassemble Vlad's for on this hero? Well, there's only a couple of real options, to be honest. You can go Satanic, or if you don't want to go Satanic, or you want to buy a later Satanic, you can buy Daedalus or Khanda. The Vlad's disassembles back into Khanda. All right, moving on to the next build. I want to go over this one quick because I already covered it in the previous video, but I want to just kind of reiterate it quickly because I think Jug is a really cool hero right now. They've been buffing it a lot. They just buffed the Q a lot. They've been buffing some of his stats. It's a solid hero, honestly. It's pretty decent. But okay, the build I generally recommend is Mjolnir into Manta into Ags, but then the key point here is Butterfly. And I was talking about this with my friends last night, and they brought a good point to my attention that I wanted to share with you guys, which is that Butterfly is obscenely good on this hero, right? And you might be like, okay, speed, we know Butterfly's a good item, but I just want to mention that it's particularly good on Jug, and it's particularly good with the Ags on Jug, because how Jug's ultis work is they give bonus damage, right? Just flat damage. And how the Ags works is it just slashes, but it slashes based on your attack speed. And so you need a ton of attack speed if you want the Ags and your Omni Slash to feel good. That is how the hero works. If you don't have attack speed, it doesn't feel good. And Jug's base attack time is like the best in the game. What that means is when you buy attack speed on Jug, it's particularly effective, and he has the highest capability of having the best possible attack speed in the game, because attack speed kind of caps off. If you get too much attack speed, it doesn't become nearly as valuable. But with Jug's low base attack time, that's less so the case. Maybe you guys have seen like Alchemist meme videos where he gets like a Mjolnir and 2 moon shards and he like hits like crazy. That's because his ulti reduces base attack time and he has a talent that reduces base attack time. And Jug just naturally has low base attack time. And so when you buy Butterfly, the hero as high agi as is, has good agi gain, and then it has this low base attack time, and then Butterfly gives like a bajillion agi, especially if you buy it late into the game when you have a ton of stats, and then your Omni Slash just hit like a truck. And you can buy Axe, which makes you pretty tanky, and has basically a second mini Omni Slash, which hits insanely fast if you have Butterfly. And so, yeah, I just really want you guys to try this out. Basically, I repeat it again, Mjolnir, into Manta, into Ags, into Butterfly. I think there's a world where you can like go Butterfly before the Ags if you want to just really hit really fast and farm really fast, but I think the Ags tends to be better so you have a bit of an HP pool and can kill supports without committing Omni Slash. Alright, then we have Hoodwink support, and I actually want to cover 2 variants of Hoodwink in this video, and I'll be kind of doing the same thing with Warden, where I cover one on YouTube and one on the website, but basically Hoodwink has been buffed massively, and a lot of people have been trying this hero out as well. The reason why is major buffs to her first and second spell. What they did is they increased the cast range recently of Bushwhack, so this ability is far easier to use, right? It's a 2-second stun, and also it does 360 damage instead of 300 now. This ability does far more damage than previous, and this helps you kill creep waves and finish off kills, of course, right? This ability is just way better. It also even does more damage at level 2, which is a main spike for this hero. They also increased Acorn Shot damage to be better at all levels. Right? And so, yeah, the hero's been buffed and buffed and buffed. I'm pretty sure they buffed its level 10 talent recently as well. If you take the Scurry evasion when active, which some people actually are taking, you get 70% evasion when you have Scurry maxed out. You heard that right. If you're near a tree and you click Scurry, you have 70% evasion. And also something I want you guys to keep in mind is the bonus cast range that Bushwhack gets comes from Scurry. Right? Because if you click Scurry, right, when you activate this ability, which lasts for 5 seconds when it's maxed out, 3.5 seconds when it's level 1, you get bonus cast range, right? It is insane how easily you can catch with this hero when you click Scurry. And the thing is, you're going to use Scurry to initiate anyway, and then it allows you to chuck Bushwhack from literally across the map. It's pretty darn nuts. And so you don't necessarily need an Aether Lens or a Blink Dagger. And also, when you get this bonus cast range, if you buy an item like Glimmer or Solar or Forward Staff that this hero naturally wants anyway, it can abuse these items, right? Because when you get bonus cast range, it just works on your items, of course, right? And so I think this hero is honestly way better than people give it credit for. It's a reliable laner, sets up well, and the Scurry changes as well as the damage buffs to Acorn Shot and Bushwhack have kind of just put it over the edge for me. And so the support build that I generally recommend is just going the normal, basic, but effective items. The Solar Crest, the Glimmer, and the Force Dap. The reason why, as I said before, it works with the E. Okay, so the build people go on core Hoodwink, which I think is actually very, very strong and underutilized, is Gleipnir, right? Non-surprisingly, this is the main build. And there's one guy who's kind of pioneering the way. His name's Rogix. You guys have probably heard his name. He does this a lot, and I mean a lot. And it looks good to me. He has 18 matches of core and support Hoodwink, primarily core. I would say 90% core, 80-90% core. And he goes to about the same build every game. It's Wand with Wraithband, with Falcon Blade, and then Treads in some games. Some games he's not. I'm seeing some games he's actually deciding to just rush the Gleipnir, which I don't mind because Gleipnir gives attack speed now. It used to not. And so if you went Gleipnir without Treads, you just couldn't really click camps or heroes because you just had no attack speed. I can see the line now. But yeah, basically every single game, he's going Gleipnir, and then some games he's going Conda. It looks like he's kind of strayed away from the Conda over time, kind of going back to the standard Gleipnir into BKB or Gleipnir into Daedalus. Of course, Daedalus is very good with Acorn Shot because Acorn Shot uses your physical damage, and so you can just crit off of it, right? It's like obscene how much damage Acorn Shot can do. This ability cooks, absolutely cooks. So yeah, you can scale in a variety of different ways after that. Reason why? Well, the Acorn Shot just works on your attack damage. You can go Satanic, and then your Acorn Shot heals you. You can go Dragonlance, which makes your Acorn Shot be able to be casted further. You can go the Conda, as I was kind of mentioning, because it makes your Q just do more burst damage. It makes your Q slow. You know, there's a ton of cool lines. There's like Scotty and the Butterfly that I'm seeing him do. There's Disperser. There's so many different angles you can try on this hero, but the main thing is Gleipnir BKB Daedalus is the safest, most reliable, and powerful build. And a couple of other things to talk about that make this hero so good is at level 15, you get Acorn Shot bounces, right? So this the Q build is way better. At level 20, you get Armor Corruption, which is nice for your scaling, and I've seen him go Deso in some games. And then at 25, you get Acorn Shot Charges, which is one of the best late game talents in the game. It makes the hero as a right clicker scale really well, and it farms super fast because the Q's a 10-second cooldown and the W's a 14-second cooldown. And by the way, if you're manning up to heroes and you're in the tree line, you have 70% evasion if you want it at level 10. The Bushwhack cooldown at 10 honestly might be too hard to pass up though, I'm not gonna lie. All right, and the last build I want to cover very quickly is Enchantress with Vessel. Why is this build so good? And there's a few players doing it, but the reason why this build is so good is because of the fact that now, well, Vessel just naturally does a lot of damage, always has, but Enchant does damage, right? For some odd reason. Well, it's not that odd of a reason. What they did to the hero is that Enchant does damage. It does up to 50 damage per second, and this lasts for 5 seconds. So the ability can do 250 damage on a 12-second cooldown at max, but when she takes over creeps, they don't get bonus armor. So these creeps are a lot more killable. They can be dealt with, right? That is the nerf to the hero. It does way more damage now, but it doesn't have armor. So how do you take advantage of this damage? Well, you buy a Vessel, you do 250 damage with your W, and then you have a creep hitting them all at the same time because the duration is way longer than the cooldown. So you can obviously have a creep and use enchant for damage at the same time. So if you find someone isolated, Enchantress is better than ever at getting solo kills. You put together a Vessel with that, and you can solo kill any support and many cores. It is absolutely insane. There's obviously a lot of other good things about this hero. I think the shard is one of the best shards in the game. It allows you to push yourself back and throw impetus. This hero scales incredibly well. It requires a lot of micro, but honestly, I think the build of going enchant with then maxed nature's attendance, just skipping impetus altogether, and rushing a Vessel is obscenely high damage, obscenely good for map control, really good for vision, a good laner. I think this hero kind of does it all. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.